Hey everybody, welcome to the Wombo Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Gimpy, and I'm with the one, the only, drum roll please, Chipped Monk. What's up, bro?
What's happening, bro? Just a straight shooter, keeping it real.
Straight shooting, man. Straight shooting. I
like
love
Shooter
the boxing
McGavin
promo
over
you
here.
threw out. Yeah. Dude, so I got back this morning from my vacation.
How was the
5 a.m.
vacation? Did it feel you rested?
Vacation was good. I am not rested, because I went with the kids. So
Yep.
kids were up all day, every day. But it was good. The kids got to, like for my daughter, like see her uncle again, and for my son, see one of his uncles for the first time ever. So it's a nice little kind of family bonding moment. And we went to Alaska. We did the glacier cruise, which was pretty awesome. Actually, got to and the ship captain just went right up next to the glacier, dude. It was super close.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool to see. And shit's actually blue. Like however it compresses, it just like some shit happens and it's fucking like legit blue.
You're like water's blue, bear. It's crazy. It's
right. It's nuts, So yeah, like stuff like that was awesome, man. We not only did we fly there, but we took a train to like the cruise. So we literally had a plane, trains, and automobiles kind of a vacation, dude.
Yeah, you hit all modes of transportation.
Yeah, man. Like yeah, exactly. So it was a good
Were
time.
you wearing willies when you did it?
Nah, I should have been though, right? We rode a hoverboard or some shit.
Yeah. Segway.
E-scooter,
dude.
Gotta say, man, it was a fantastic trip. Shout out Sir Trike and Sir Solace, who we hung out every damn day. So great time, man, great time.
Nice.
What about you, man? What have you been up to?
Just been working. I took off Friday, and then left work early Thursday. So I'm kind of on a mini vacation. I got Monday off too. There's a game jam going on right now for RPG Maker. It ends in August. So I was like, I should do that. I asked the professor if he wanted in on it. He agreed because there's money involved. So I'm hoping he comes through on that. But who knows? He's been trying to get like a better job lately too. So he's been doing all kinds of stuff. But he kicked up Game Maker and he got it connecting to the internet.
Maker, right?
Yeah. What did I say? Whatever.
Yeah.
It's all the same. He kicked up RPG Maker and got it connected to the internet. And he was using like a Java API to have it like shooting out Chuck Norris quotes whenever you talk to somebody. So yeah, I was like, all right, I think we could probably do something. I think we have a chance of winning this thing. So
when is you said August, the contest?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the end of this month. So I don't know. It's been taking me a long time. I was telling you a little bit about my trials and tribulations with it before this. It's about 4 hours for me to make like a simple level right now, but I'm getting slightly faster as I progress. I'm trying to use a plugin to use Tiled, which is the outside program, and yeah, it's great. None of the features actually work with the plugin that I have, and that's really kind of the problem. Like where like I'll do something, I spend like an hour and a half doing something, and then like I kick on RPG Maker, and I'm like boom, and then it crashes, and I'm like, oh, I can't flip tiles in this. I bet, dude. I know that's what it is. And I went back and like deleted all those tiles and like booted it back up. I'm like, yep. Well, there goes an hour and a half of work I just lost.
Any reason why you're not using the built-in?
Tile lets you get more layers. It lets you do collision. It lets you set objects so you can put things off, so you don't have to place things perfectly on grid. So you can be off grid. You can go off model, so you can make things look slightly more natural and better. But the other problem I've run into is RPG Maker uses like its own weird proprietary thing. So in GDevelop, it's called I want to say Cloud. Okay. In Unity, it's called 9Sprite, 9Slice, and it's where you cut up it's where you take a sprite and you divvy it up into like 3x3, so it's a 9
slicer. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and then you can paint terrains or water. Yep. So RPG Maker uses its own thing that's not like none of that. It's all hidden behind the hood, so you can't see any of it. So I had to download Godot to use a tile converter that somebody made in Godot, and it only works in Godot. They didn't like make a standalone. So now I have Godot set up, have a new plugin for that for like a tile extruder. Use that to have to go into Clip Studio, cut up my sprite tile maps, upload them into Godot, export them into like these weird funky formats, and then put that into tile to export it back into my RPG maker. So yeah, it's taking a little bit of time. But once all those tiles are converted and all of groundwork's done, it should be fast. Because like this last map I just started, like half an hour, I'm like almost done with it. Like so.
Sweet.
You know, it's getting a little bit. There's nothing on it. It's a desert map, so that helps.
I will say that it's probably you're probably making it more difficult for yourself because you know other programs and like how those work. So you're just trying to shoehorn it in. Have you? And you're doing it for a game jam, so you probably won't even have time to really dive into their proprietary stuff or how they do it. But I've played a few RPG Maker games and. Some I know for a fact were made just using the internal tools that were actually very, very polished. Anything outside of the game jam where you're liking RPG Maker that you could see yourself using it in the future, or is this just purely do the jam, get something done, and move on?
I feel like it's mostly just do the jam. I don't know. There's like, it's very chill, man. I just was putting on lo-fi music and just making tiles like sprites. Are just very calming to the soul. Like there's something, there's something simple about like it brings you back to a simpler time, dude. When like video games, were just abstractions of your imagination. You weren't, bogged down by, the vertices and realistic graphics. You had to use
that for sure, man.
You had to read text on screen. So I don't know. Like it made me want to use GDevelop more. Where I'm like, man, maybe I should go back to GDevelop or like really dig into like Unity's 2D tools.
Yeah,
because I know like Smile Builder's kind of like one that's like an RPG-esque maker, and then RPG Maker's having like RPG Unite, like both of them later this year.
Yep.
Where they're both going to be plugins for Unity. And I was looking at possibly getting a Switch because I was like, oh, maybe I could build something for like a Nintendo Switch, and that'd be fun. It'd be like having a handheld. That'd be all right. And I was like, I already have a phone. I could do that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So many options, man.
For sure. So I will say, well, that's one. Congrats on doing the game jam, man. I'm looking forward to that completed
Hopefully
project.
I finish, man. Like even if the professor doesn't do his part, the maps will be done. I have the basic framework already laid out. So there's like 8 roads and then 4 cities and then, all the houses and stuff. So I got, 3 of the roads done, one of the towns done. So
nice.
Did you
almost graph
50%.
paper design it first?
I used Paint. Like the Microsoft Paint, dude. I just went in there and I like gridded it out. I was like, I generally knew kind of how I want things to look. And so I was just like trying to form the connective tissue. And
That's
I like
amazing.
I was like, all right, I'll just throw this together real quick here.
Absolutely amazing.
And I just threw colors on it and I was like, all right, done.
Sweet. Well, good, man. Good. It's like we've said many a time on this pod. It's nice to get back into into doing creative things like that, right?
Yeah,
so
there's been a lot of internet drama
awesome.
lately about talking smack about video game engines that are out there.
Which I absolutely hate that portion, right? Because they're there so you can get things done. Like I said many times, I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. If you want to be that guy to open up C++ and start, writing directly to shit, more power to you. But for me, fuck that. It's just too much work.
I just want to take an assembler and look at the hex code and break down these NES cartridges to change things up.
Sorry, I fell asleep while you were talking.
It's like, or you could just, I had a buddy who was like getting into that. He wanted to do like ROM hacking for like a NES. And I was like, what are you actually trying to do? Are you trying to like hack the game or are you trying to make games? And he was like, I kind of want to make games. I was like, don't do what you're doing then. Just go get into go get Game Maker, go get like Construct or GDevelop, get something that like you can make like those 2D games on like that you'll enjoy. Cause like, sure you can do that, but you're going to spend so much time learning like
a defunct thing.
Yeah. Defunct things like defunct technology that it's nice to know, but like, come on, man, you're gonna be sitting there with the X calculator, like trying to get into things, dude. Nobody wants to do that.
Right. There are some projects that do that exact thing that I followed, and they always end up porting to PC too because they realize like, oh hey, I spent 8 years of my life making this thing. I actually want to have some profit from it. It's really cool that it's on runs on the stock NES or stock SNES or Genesis or something. But at the end of the day, you want to you want to get paid too.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
There's a beautiful art form to a lot of that stuff, and like a lot of it, I feel most people don't appreciate, and nobody really uses like standards anymore. Like when they're coding or modeling or drawing things where they're like, oh, I can just use all of the colors. I'm going to throw them all together in there. And it's like, bro, like you're going to balloon up the file size. And they're like, whatever. People have terabyte hard drives now. It's no big deal. It's whatever. It's
right.
like, bro, why is it
that yours is the only game that'll be on that terabyte hard drive?
Yeah. Or even like software. It's like, why is, photo editing software take a minute and a half to boot up on a modern computer? It doesn't make sense. It's like you're not even doing anything.
Right. Just turning the damn thing on.
It's like, let me load every plugin possible. That's one of the problems I've had with Unity, man. If we're going to gripe about engines, like it has a lot of like plug and play options, but like I think constantly crashes. It'll cause you problems. It's buggy as hell. Sometimes new bugs pop up. Like there's problems that'll show up on the forums that like just the developers don't even give a shit about. They're just like, oh yeah, we know about this. We're working on it. It's like, this was 8 years ago, dude. You have 2 new releases and you haven't fixed this shit. This is like, this breaks everything. Like I sent you that screenshot because I was like making something in the Oculus. Was it the Meta 2, whatever?
We can let's here before we do it. Let's call it what it was called. You know what I mean? Like I actually dislike the Meta branding. Like fuck that.
Nah.
If 3 years from now we can use the Meta branding, but the Oculus branding was way better.
All right. Yeah. So I was just making like a simple demo for Oculus, and I was like in the manual for Unity, and it had like the button commands for the program are different than on their unified control scheme. So it's like, it's 2 different things where it's like, this is now input.player.1 instead of, button 2 or whatever it was before, or like primary. Like it was so ridiculous. I was like, this is your official documentation. You couldn't update it. It's a wiki. It's not like you printed this off and like mailed it to me, bro. Like go in there and like update your code, like base, dude.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
It's incredible.
Or at least have it unified. Like if that's what it's supposed to be in C#, then have that reflect on like your new input system as well. Like don't have them be 2 different things because it's just confusing.
As hell.
Yeah,
exactly. So did you get anything off the ground with the Oculus? Or you were doing Unity for Oculus, right? Anything off the ground with that?
Dude, I got like several things working together. So I got like the Emerald AI, like, thing off the store where like you can program in simple AI to do stuff. So I made basically like creepers or lickers from like Resident Evil 2 that like kind of crawl around on the ground and like attack you. And like so I could like shoot them down and kill them. And I was running around like a space station. And I was like, this is pretty cool. It was only running like at 30 FPS. So it was giving me some issues, but like, I think that's, it was all HDRP is the high definition render template and everything looked gorgeous. I was like, this is too real. This is probably bad for my like mind to be murdering things like in this realistic of it. This murder sim in these monsters. Yeah. But then I was like, all right, it's kind of like bugging down like in the frame rate. Maybe I should make like a quick, standalone instead of a whole space station like city. Just have it just be like a single base and work on that. And then I got pretty frustrated because everything in VR is using like real physics. I put the doors, like slot them into like the space station doors, should just work, but it was like hitting some geometry somewhere in there, and I was like, "Are you kidding me, dude? Like, I'm done. I'm done."
You gotta be an IRL architect just to get it done.
Yeah, I have to like. I was like, this is stop being fun. Like the AI, the shooting stuff, that was fun. Running around a city was fun, and then I was like, as soon as I tried to like make it into some sort of game, I was like thinking like, oh, maybe I can make like a basic Call of Duty zombie style map in this, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm done. So yeah, and it was fun for me to like get the fun part for me was getting everything up and running together and stuff and playing around in Unity. But yeah, I was like, all right, that was done. And then I was like, I should work on that card game I've been talking about. So I started that up. And I got pretty far. I got the scriptable objects, and then I was like, all right, now I just got to like get to the play part working. And then this game jam came up, so I was like, I'm just putting this on the back burner. So
for sure, for sure. I get that.
A lot of nothing got done, dude. That's what I'm saying.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
What about you, man? You're just on vacation and think about anything?
So while on vacation, and doing the whole flight shit and all that. Naturally, I'm watching a movie or whatever. It's a 5.5 hour flight there, direct flight.
Dude.
So I had some time. So I was.
You didn't have to say it like that, dude.
What?
You said like, yeah, that's a time. Like, it's 5 hours, not a lot of time, dude.
It is when you have 2 kids with you too, though.
Yeah, on a plane, dude. That's on you, bro.
True. But anyway, I had some time to really, just kind of dive into a game, give it some good thoughts. I had my Switch with me, and I ended up just playing Metroid Dread, both to and from. Fantastic game. It was one of my game of the years. The
already beat it like twice.
Yeah, 3 times.
Nice.
All right. I love the game. Absolutely love it. So I was thinking, it's like, you know what? Mobile gaming is like Nintendo pioneered it, perfected it, and then they went the other way where you could have hybrid. So mobile gaming now is hybrid gaming, or handheld gaming, I should say, is hybrid gaming, because mobile gaming became just your phone. So I was like, it's actually a great experience. And while I was on vacation, lo and behold, I got my notification from Steam saying my Steam Deck was ready for purchase. So I purchased that as well, and it got me thinking, man. Handheld games are such a vital part of our industry that a lot of people just overlook. Like when there's, especially I would say, like between generational leaps of the main consoles, right? You usually have the handhelds that are like 2, maybe 3 generations behind. So they're taking like what happened 3 generations ago and perfecting that.
Yeah.
Like I'd say, like one of the best consoles of all time was the Game Boy Advance. Following that, the Nintendo DS. I'd say it was one of the best consoles.
I'd say like DS personally, but whatever.
Over the Game GBA.
Yeah. Just it had the stylus. It kind of
was truly innovative, right? And dual screens.
It changed up. It basically was like a precursor to like cell phone technologies of like how we now deal with like mobile games, minus like the microtransaction part.
Yeah,
and people are things like salty right now.
And shit, just how we went from a time of having like the Game Gear with like fucking 8 batteries that drained after fucking an hour, to now like I found my 3DS before the trip, and I was gonna bring that. That shit I haven't seen in probably 4 years. That shit still had a little bit of charge left. Like,
it's like still
where's
ready
this
to go.
battery life coming from, man? Like, it's actually absolutely incredible. So anyway, while I'm playing my Switch on the plane and my Steam Deck's on its way, it got me thinking, man. What can handheld gaming do to make it a must buy now? Because right now it seems to be an ancillary piece to like a main console or a main PC. What do you think that it can do to become like I feel everyone has that, and like back in the day you'd had like your normal console, but everyone had like a GBA. Or everyone had a DS or a PSP, but let's be honest, everyone had a DS. What do you think has to happen nowadays for it to compete with cell phones, really? To do this,
it's rough, man. Like I feel like market penetration's a real thing, and like people get invested in like these walled gardens, as they say, like your Google Plays or your Apple Store. Like it goes about like people have been like really salty about the latest game that's trending to hate on, which is Diablo Immortal. They're like, oh, look at all these microtransactions, and everyone's like, bro, have you not played cell phone games? Like this has always been like how games work. And they're like, they make like the gambling simulator where like you can see like how much it actually costs to get like the ultra rare. And it's like, this is how it's always been, guys. Like if anything, the only reason we know the odds is because other countries have stepped in and put legislation in place to like make it so they have to like print the odds on the game like in other countries. Like we don't even have that. So like people have to go to like other countries and get like the translation. They're like, oh, the odds are this. It's like, it is what it is. But that being said, people are like, how come it is that way? Right. And it's because nobody wants to pay $60 for a mobile game, like on their cell phone. just because
You
it
hit it
was
on
like
the head.
a
Yeah.
race to the bottom for so long, where it's like, all right, I told my buddy because he was like, "Oh, I want to play Final Fantasy Tactics, bro. I used to love that game." And I was like, "It's on the phone now, dude. You can go buy it. It's like $15." And he's like, "Oh," and he like looked it up. And he's like, "Oh, it's like $9." He was like, "All right," and he didn't buy it. He was like, "His $10 was like too
Yeah.
much for a game he loves." To like have it like because he's like, "Oh, I've been trying to like find a new game to play. I can like pick up and." I used to love Final Fantasy Tactics. I want to play that game again, but like I don't have any way to play it. And I was like, "Bro, you got a phone? There you go. It's like $10 right there." And he's like, I'm good." Like, what the heck? You know, so uh, they've just like indoctrinated us into like this way of thinking of like, if it's not like free or 99 cents, like it's too much. Like, I don't know.
It's such a backwards way, because
Yeah.
and I'm glad you mentioned that. I was hoping you would. So I think that's how handheld gaming becomes a necessity. I think Nintendo is very ballsy, and pretty innovative actually for releasing the Switch using a mobile processor, or mobile graphics chip, I should
Yeah.
say. Um, so like all of these games are probably pretty viable on your phone, to be honest. But the difference is control scheme.
Yeah.
Online play. And they still have their crazy motion controls on the Switch, and I think that no one is doing what Nintendo is doing.
Yeah.
That way it's been
People
such a
were upset when they did cartridges still. They're like, "Oh, this is like DRM stuff. They don't want people blah blah blah." And it's like, "Yeah, so what, dude? Like it's their like SD cards hold so much like
and it's
space now.
lightning
Yeah,
fast.
super lightning fast. It's like so what? Like they're like, "Oh, this is just more of their shady, practices because like back in the 80s and 90s they were like you have to print cartridges through us, like we're the distributor, blah blah blah." But I don't know, it's lightning fast. It makes sense. Like it works. And then, I don't know, the DRM is working as well. Like nobody's really getting too deep into like, uh, modding those systems and getting them like completely unlocked,
I mean, there's always a community for that, but yeah, it's not as popular as it once was.
I
That
mean,
is
they
true.
just went after like the biggest mod chip seller, dude. Nintendo did. They like got
Yeah.
him arrested, dude. Like it's crazy. People are heated about that too. They're like, "How dare you?" Because it's perfectly
Because
legal.
people have to protect their intellectual property. That's
Yeah.
like I like free shit too, but at a certain point, everyone realizes it's illegal. A lot of people are like, "Oh, preservation and stuff," which I'm all for preservation. We've even dedicated an entire episode on emulation and preservation of games and stuff. But if you have to look at it from a business standpoint too. It's like, yeah, these people are taking your games and getting them for free. Welcome. Like
Yeah.
that's the corporate mindset. And yes, people the argument is these games aren't available anywhere else. True. Emulate it. Go for it. I do.
Yeah.
But I understand the other side of the table as well.
I also find like a lot of this comes from like younger people as well, uh, where they don't really understand like how businesses work. Like I was listening to somebody talk about, you see, I have the Sega shirt on. Somebody was talking about like the Sega, and they're like, at some point they accidentally left in a piece of fan art in like Generations or something. But it was only in one single version of the game. And they're like, "Oh yeah, sorry." And they're like, "Sega has zillions of dollars. There's no reason for this to happen." And it's like, bro, first of all, they don't have zillions of dollars. All right, I don't think you understand like how like quarterly profits and stuff work, like and like how much it costs to operate and like keep people employed, keep the lights on in like your buildings and stuff. Like, unfortunately, like being in the creative field isn't like free. It's not like we're not like in was it where PewDiePie lives.
Sweden.
Yeah, we're
Is he
not
Swiss or
Sweden,
something? I
bro.
don't
We
know.
don't have like the social credit where they just like pay us, welfare to like hang out and try and be creative all day. Not all of us could be in Sweden, bro. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, dude. So I was thinking like Nintendo has actually done quite a bit to, separate itself from mobile gaming and the masses. So I was like, okay, what's the next big thing?
They got
And
Pokemon Go, bro. Like,
right. So they're double dipping too.
yeah,
And then they did the smart thing of buying a successful, innovative mobile developer to make games like that. So Niantic, who made like all of their games kind of have the same shtick, but
Yeah, they work.
licensing
People
Pokemon
enjoy
over
them.
it is like the best thing you could have done.
Just printing money.
Exactly,
You
exactly.
put a couple. I think Pokemon's making $1 billion
By itself, yes.
across the board, though. That's like toys, games, everything. You know, like
Yeah, yeah. But keep in
cartoon,
mind,
comic books,
that is not a solely
movies.
Nintendo owned IP though.
Yeah,
It's Pokemon Company and Nintendo have like they split it. I actually think it might be a 30-70 split if I remember right, but I'm not entirely sure. But you know, Nintendo, like I said, for what they were for what any shit we talked about them, you have to admire their hustle and how they're doing things. And that being said, my Steam Deck, you know, I'm actually super excited for the Steam Deck, and people are like, "Why don't you just buy a gaming laptop?" I'm like,
yeah, that's what I
"Yeah,
did.
but it doesn't work for my situation." You know,
It's
like
fair.
I have like Sir Solid saw how I live my life now because he's like, "Man, no wonder you're always up so late." He's like, your kids want to hang out with you all the time." I was like, "Yeah, they do. They're kids. That
That's
happens."
what kids do, Mike.
You know, and he's like, "So when they go to bed, you just like I try and get gaming in. I try and get like some socialization in. You know, not to mention hanging out with my wife and doing stuff with her. But so you try and match all of your daily things you take for granted when you're you know not a parent.
Yeah, man.
so so I'm like the Switch allowed me to play full games like with my kids there. If like sometimes they'll be watching a movie, I don't want to watch their kids show, so I have the Switch in my hands, right? Could I do it with a gaming laptop? Sure, I could. That seems kind of like cumbersome. And now with the Steam Deck, there's like so many PC RPGs I want to play through that I've owned for years that I haven't because time. So
Yeah,
like
man.
Disco Elysium, it's the first game I'm going to install on the Steam Deck and start playing. It's a
Nice.
long form PC RPG that I have been looking forward to for so long, but just never had the time to really just sit down and just play it without being interrupted. So I think my use case will be is it's not as unique as you think because I think other like gamer parents kind of deal with the same thing that I do.
Yeah, man. They've been dealing with it.
Yeah. Yeah, so and like the professor, he games, he's a parent, he has a full-time job, all that. I feel like the Steam Deck has allowed him to play a lot more games than he's played before, you
Yeah,
know.
man.
So I think that Valve is where Nintendo was back in the early 2000s, where you don't have any competition, and any competition that comes up is not a threat.
The
So
other beautiful thing as well between Valve and Nintendo's, they've both built up a platform where people are used to paying a premium for their games. Like
true.
they don't have like the holdover of like the app stores where it's like, oh, it's 99 cents are free and like we'll just subsidize it with ads. Like you're the product now. And also like
Yeah.
we allow other game developers to put in microtransactions in here and it's super, I don't know. It just, I'm sure they do it now, right? Nintendo probably has like some sort of like Mamma Mia coins or some shit you can get on like their store that no, I think their only kerfluffle was like their emulation stuff that they did with the N64.
Yeah, that's really it. Nintendo's I mean, so they have like a Nintendo rewards program where if you buy a real game you get like gold that you can use to buy other games or other things like
Yeah. Steam
it's
does
actually
that
not
something like
bad.
that too, like their Steam
Yeah,
coins or whatever.
yeah, and the Steam stuff is just like purely cosmetic stuff for your profile or
Yeah.
chat. Nintendo actually gives you like you can redeem that gold Nintendo Gold for money off your next game, or if you have enough,
Yeah, sweet gold.
you could just get a digital game for free, essentially.
Yeah. For free that you paid for, but
Right,
basically
right. I
free.
mean, it's like money
Yeah.
back from the games you've already bought. So
It definitely helps so that they don't have like that stigma of like, oh, it should just be free, man.
yeah,
I think
exactly.
I think that's what's really killing mobile right now. I told you about this a little bit. Like I showed you this, the Playdate. It's like a new
Yes,
handheld that's made
yes,
by. It's like its
yes.
big thing is like it's got a fishing reel on it, dude. It's like one bit. It's like black and white. Dude, this thing is. I don't understand. I feel like I'm a boomer, bro. This is my boomer moment because like people love this thing. It's selling out like everywhere. Like it's like out of stock till like the end of next year. I think is like how many of this thing sold out, and
Let's
it's
get
not
into
even.
this.
It's not backlit. It looks like a Game Boy SP. Is that? Would you say or
The SP was backlit.
Yeah, it's so weird, dude. It's running like
So
a
it's this
watch
weird new
processor.
retro tech kind of a thing. So let me explain what the
Yeah.
Playdate is, because Chip told me before we started recording this podcast when I was excited for my Steam Deck, and he's like, "How about the big competition, the Playdate?" I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So the Playdate looks like a toy you would get from the dollar store, and it's a single screen. It actually has a pretty good resolution. It's 400 by 240, and it's black and white. It has a B and an A button, just like it's like the old. It's like, imagine the old Game Boy, the original. Just two buttons, D-pad, and then for whatever reason, it has a crank on the side of it.
Bro.
The crank is an analog controller that you can use for games, and it looks like that's how you turn it on. Like you twist the crank once. I'm not entirely
That's right,
sure.
bro.
But
Crank it like Soldier Boy.
and the games are all a subscription model, so
Yeah.
you like wake up with new games just ready to play.
Costs $180, dude. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, that gives you season 1 of the games. There's 26 of them that it comes with. I'm like, bro, I looked at those games. I wouldn't play those games for free, dude. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I feel like they're all just, I feel like I'm not cool, dude. I don't get it. Like, I really don't. Like,
all of the black and white games, like, you're not gonna. I don't know, man. I think it's cool retro tech that's new. That's the appeal of it. But you're right. I looked at those games and nah.
Is it because we're old? Is it because we grew up? We grew 16-bit
up with what they want, with what they're selling, though.
It's like romanticized nostalgia and
stuff there. I don't know.
People like have like a love of like the 80s and 70s where they're like, oh yeah, man, bell bottom jeans and like Grateful Dead, bro. And it's like, all right,
Grateful Dead like that. Let's be honest.
But they want to though, right? Like they're going to buy the band shirt and just hang out and listen to the music and be like, man, this is awesome. They're really on to something. This is real music. They're like, I feel like that's what this is with the Playdate, where they're like, this is real video gaming, man. It's just simple, clean mechanics, great aesthetic, just one bit. That's all you need, man. You got to convey the message with that.
I know it. Yeah, I just don't see a true market for that. It just seems like some weird offshoot, like niche thing. Like I'd rather.
It's $180, dude. Like that's where I can't. Like I would get it kind of like you're saying. Like if it was like $30, I could see like something. It becomes more compelling at that point. But then they're like at 180, they're competing with like the Nintendo Switch Lite, the Steam Deck, the Odin, like the GDXP Pro.
Yeah,
they're playing with the big boys at like $200.
I love that the GDXP Pro is the big boys in this scenario. The Odin as well, or like the what's that, Pico Neo, right?
Yeah.
I think so. But you're right.
Even if it went down to 30, like you're competing with like Raspberry Pi still. Like that's like still like, and that's like even closer to the same market, I would say, because like it's part of the big draw for it is like, oh, you can like program your own games. It uses Lua program. Yeah. It's like a Tinker machine, but like Raspberry Pi machine is like a machine that can do everything though, bro. Like you can make it a video game machine, but you could also turn into a thermostat or a server.
Like, one of mine controlled my door locks at home. So.
It's a door lock operator, dude. Like it's a doorman.
Biometrics.
Like, yeah, so you're competing with like that technology. So it's like, I don't see a place for it at all. But like I said, man, I think there's like some weird nostalgia thing, but you can just make games that have that aesthetic. You don't have to spend $180, kids. You can't.
Just the thing that, like, so I could see like retro tech going, oh, people want to have like the old Game Boy experience, right?
Like the Game and Watch.
I could see that, but
they just sold a Game and Watch. It was cheaper.
Where they did that, yeah, right. Where they did that though is they added that weird crank, dude. I'm like, what the fuck is this before? They're like, not all games use it. I'm like, no shit, not all games use it. I don't want to use this shit. Like, what?
Yeah, like every review, because I went into it, dude. I watched like 3 or 4 reviews of it, and like everyone's like, yeah, this really hurts my hands. Like, what did you think? What's gonna happen, bro? They're like, yeah, I get like really like sore like wrist after using this for like 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, dude. They're like, it's really hard to see. Is this not backlit? I'm like, but there's like always talking it up. They're like, but I really love it. This is my go-to gaming device now. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not, dude.
Official site, it says, oh, it's not backlit or whatever, but it has a super reflective screen. You can even play it by candlelight. I'm like, if I'm in a situation where I have to have an electronic device where I have to play by candlelight, I'm not using that device. I'm using something else.
We have bigger problems. I feel like if like we're all using playdates by candlelight, dude. Like things have gone terribly wrong, and like the timeline, the space time continuum, things have shifted. The Earth has moved off its axis.
Axis. Yeah.
A
Where
supernova
the
has
thing is
taken out.
so here's how weird that thing is too. Like I mentioned, it's probably like retro tech trying to be cool, but also it
It
has
is
new
cool.
shit. It has USB-C, it has Bluetooth, it has Wi-Fi, all in this shit. For what reason? I don't know.
Yeah, that was kind of my looking at too, where I was like, they could get rid of like all that stuff and bring down the cost of this thing, couldn't they? Like, what do they? I don't know. It's cool, dude. We're not cool. That's where I'm going with this, dude.
All right, all right. I'll
Not hip
accept that.
anymore, dude. We're old people.
Old people, yeah, don't know what cool is.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's how it
Damn
goes
it!
sometimes, man.
Damn it! Yeah, but my main point: Steam doesn't have any competition in this. The Switch doesn't have any competition.
Not
You
from
know,
the Playdate, you don't think?
fuck no.
I don't know,
I
man.
think the Steam Deck and the Switch are probably the only like real competitions, but the Steam Deck is not because it still relies on like the PC clunkiness that PC gamers are okay with, but like general console gamers are not. You know, if you buy something, you install it and it just works, get the Switch. If you buy something you want to tinker with it, get the Steam Deck. You know what I mean? Steam
Yeah,
Deck's really bridging the gap right now, but you know, I still don't think it's true competition. And I think
yeah.
whatever
And I would
Nintendo's
also say, like,
next.
if like you want an entry level to tinker with Raspberry Pi,
Oh yeah,
even for like emulation and stuff too, like for like older stuff, like you get like a Raspberry Pi 3 or like the Nano or
shit. With the
whatever.
Raspberry Pi 4, you can emulate up to like the Game Boy, or not Game Boy, GameCube era. You know, or I think it
Yeah,
emulates Wii as well. So, you
yeah.
know, all the way up to the Wii.
It's got a little bit of everything, and you'll learn stuff along the way. But like, you don't have to use it for emulation. You can make your own games. You can program your own games and get them
Yep,
working on there.
yep,
Uh,
yep.
I don't know. Like, it's tough to say, man. Like, I don't know what's going to take down the cell phone market. I think it's just too big, and like you can't really compete with free. Even though the price of it is like your eyeballs, and they're selling you ads constantly. Like the invasiveness of the technology. I think the only way that things will shift is if like legislation comes into play, where like they stop allowing people to do like such predatory like practices with like how they serve ads to people, how they're like stealing all the metadata that like you use, how they're like, farming your IP address, your geolocation. They're like, and I don't even think like in a dystopian way that it's a bad thing, because like I don't know, like you're gonna get ads one way or the other. At least it's more tailored to you and your preferences at this point. Like you're not getting, like I haven't seen ads for things I'm not interested in, and I see more stuff that I am interested in where I'm like, oh, what's this about? Let me see this. So I'm okay with it personally, because like I remember back in the day, the early internet, when it was just like random stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
are you interested in anything, dude? And I'm like, that was more of like the Blade Runner esque sci-fi of like neon advertisements just blasting your eyes 24/7 of like, buy whatever Shinra tech.
So yeah, yeah. I can see that, and I don't. Let's see how can truly convey my feeling with that. I don't think I care about the privacy stuff. It's like tailored ads. I probably don't click them anyway. I don't think I've clicked an ad in quite some time. Uh, does it bother me? No, not really. You know, you can opt out of most everything
Have you
anyway.
played any
So,
phone games? What's the last phone game you played?
BeatStar. It's uh, like Guitar Hero, but with your thumbs. It's probably
Okay,
how I could say it. Uh, just played it the other day.
nice.
So
You pay money in it at all?
nope, nope, not at all. You can pay
Nice.
money to get like songs and stuff, but
Get rid of
it's
ads or something?
or yeah, or you can. I don't know if you can get rid of ads. I think they're always there, but you can like lessen the impact with like a subscription or
Oh,
some shit. But you know, it's more of like a scratching that rhythm game itch for me.
all
But
right. After you
But
got disgraced in Beat Saber by the professor,
no, I'm still
now you're a
battling.
mobile
Still, right. He
beat
kicked me out of the PC wall garden into the mobile gaming hellscape. Yeah.
Sends you down to the shadow realm, dude.
No. I'm still down for
It's
for
you're
Beat Saber.
practicing to reclaim your throne, dude. Is this what's going on?
It's the hyperbaric chamber, dude. No, it's just something to play, you know. And like my kids like phone games and stuff too, so I've seen what they're playing and stuff like that, you know. And just kind of monitor that or help them too. So, but like my son really likes rhythm games, so a lot of that comes into play. So any real rhythm game is there. There's also a turn-based tactics game that I actually really enjoyed. It doesn't have any ads. After you purchase it, it's like $5 to purchase. It's called Hoplite. It's
Okay.
a grid-based strategy game, roguelike. That's very fun. Like it's only
Nice.
available on mobile. So I mean, it's not like I totally just hate mobile games. I have some, and
Yeah.
some games I think work with it. I just think that I'd rather use like a hybrid model, like the Switch or the Steam Deck, than just my cell phone for things, because
Have you
I'm
looked
not going to get
into
intrusive ads on that.
Have you looked into like the peripheral market for the phone for like getting like the controller dock or
It's
whatever?
all
Like
asshole. It's all
yeah.
asshole, dude.
Maybe
There's nothing cool about that.
I don't know. Maybe they'll have like a good shell at some point that'll change up the mobile game landscape for you.
Maybe. But and I know you like it. I just there's a loss of tactile feel when you're
Yeah,
playing
I'm
things that
also
just
like what
involve a touchscreen.
I'm what you would call a minnow in the mobile game market, where like I'll give them like if I play more than like 4 or 5 hours of like a mobile game, I'll give them like $20 or whatever for the first Game Pass. Because like it's worth it to me. Like around like 6 or 8 hours, I'm like, you know what, the developers put in some real time on this. Like I've enjoyed this game obviously for like 8 hours. Like here's $20, thanks. I'm okay with that. Like me personally, that's like, and I feel, but I'm not like predisposed to like gambling addictions or anything like that. So you knock on wood, where like I'm like, oh, I'm not like chasing like 5 stars or like ultra legendary. I'm not very like I'll compete in like certain games, and then but I'm not competitive. Or like I haven't played like any mobile games in months now. Like I've just been off of it. Like after I got like in my new phone, I'm like nothing really carried over from my old phone. And I was like, I'm not gonna reinstall any of this stuff. Like so, I don't know. It's rough, man. I've been mostly back on PC after that Steam sale, so I've been trying to just get through some of that stuff. But
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I don't
I
know. Like
gotcha.
for me, like as an adult, there's less opportunity for mobile stuff as well. Because it's like I go to work and then I can't be on my phone or pulling out like a Game Boy. Your
Right.
Game Boys work.
Right.
People have questions for you.
True.
Uh,
True.
so then from there, I come back home. So it's like I'm in front of a PC or TV when I get home. And here I've been preferring more to go into VR than anything else. So
Nice.
I don't really have room in my life right now for a handheld. Not even the Playdate, dude. Not even ironically as like a hipster, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, man. Yeah. For me, man, I think I'm at the point where handhelds are just gonna work for me. I'm looking forward to trying out the Steam Deck, getting all my opinions out once I receive it sometime next week. I am actually getting some AR glasses to go with it,
Okay.
since there's no true dock yet, right? And I don't want to always have to play it on like the tiny screen, Well, I guess the screen is actually really fucking big, truthfully. But I'm like, wouldn't it be bigger if it's just like around my eyeballs?
If it shot
So
right into your eyeballs, dude.
exactly. So I'm getting these AR
Does it work with
glasses
the
from
Vive?
Japan. I don't think so.
I don't know, man. Maybe compare it together where like streams directly to. I guess at that point, why won't you just stream it off your PC?
Yeah, right.
I've seen a lot of people use like the HDMI to like a portable display.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have been doing that. Like those seem pretty decent. And
Yep,
I guess
yep.
it has pass through, so it'll charge up your Steam Deck while you're using the slightly bigger screen. So
Yep.
you
That's,
got options.
That's
You
a thing.
got options.
That's why I want to do because my thing is I have to travel for work a couple of times this year. So my thing is, what can I bring with, but also give me like the best like bang for my buck and portability. So I'm like, if I get these AR glasses with it, I'll have these headphones, the glasses, and I can have like a mouse and a true keyboard with me.
Be playing
And
Valorant on the Greyhound.
That would be yes,
to be that guy.
Yeah. But even if it's something like League of Legends or something, which I reinstalled after we talked about, just playing that on the go in like a hotel room without having to
Nobody,
lug around
we haven't talked about League of Legends, bro. You back on League of Legends now?
without having to lug around like a laptop would be way better. It's just from
Yeah.
portability. So that's the thought. I am not super back on it, but it's reinstalled and there's been a game or two played. We spoke
Alright.
about it when we were talking about how much it advanced from 09 to today.
Oh yeah. The graphics wise,
that inspired me.
it looks good now, dude. It looks like a AAA
does.
game, dude.
It really does. It really does.
You're like, that game looks like butt, and I'm like, bro, hey, you. I was like, because you've played it and like seen it and like grown along with it, like you don't realize like how much it's changed in the span of like this like 10 years or whatever, how long it's been,
It's
dude.
true.
Like it's completely different now. Like it actually looks like a AAA game finally.
Yeah, it really does. It really
Before
does.
it did look like a Dookie mod, look like flipped assets, dude. Like it was rough, dude.
Right, definitely. All right, bro. I think that does it for today, man. So we got
Did we come to any conclusion here? Or is mobile gaming dead? Or is it all cell phones?
I don't think so. I think we've discussed it enough where I think it's a separate
Feeling
market.
good.
Yeah, I think so. And I think just really the main thing being right now, like handheld gaming with like this, let's just throw Steam Deck in there, but like the Switch, Steam Deck or whatever, you're not getting the ad or monetization model that you are with cell phone.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest difference right now as graphics get closer, and obviously input method. But as graphics get closer, we'll see. We'll revisit that in a couple of years and see how we feel. But for me, to be like touchscreens really don't do it for me for games, man. Like there's never been a cell phone game. Yeah, there's never been a cell phone game, even if I really liked it, that will overtake me from playing another thing, a traditional game.
That's fair, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right,
GG,
guys.
everybody.
With the
Like,
Wombo
share,
Podcast.
subscribe.
Mr. Gimpy.
This is Chipmunk.
And we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.
Peace.